Welcome to week 5. You've made it past the halfway point, and what a great time of learning. Always something new and exciting to explore in the field of communication. It's the reason I love my job. It's the reason I continue to teach about what I love, my passion, which is, of course, communication. Last week we focused on the importance of the internal audience. This week we're going to move outside the organization. This is what most people think about when they see public relations in action. Think about a press conference, or maybe you saw your name quoted in a news article, or maybe you're conducting a stand-up interview, whether it's live or taped. These are the final products. But our author reminds us, quality relationships with the media are key to success. It's one of the reasons why the Pentagon Press Office is located right across the hall from the Pentagon Press Corps. When I was a Pentagon press officer, I walked right out my back door, the back door of my office, and went across the hall and was right in with the press corps, where all the media who cover the Pentagon and all things military worked. It's one of the reasons why we travel together. So if the Secretary of Defense or some other principal was going somewhere and there was going to be media coverage, we sat and worked with the media. And you build up that trust, which of course is key for any relationship. And it's one of the reasons why I think that we have such a good, strong relationship between the military and the media. That trust that is built up is crucial to not just the media's mission, but we argue in public affairs for the military that we can't do our job effectively without the media. Now, I'm sure many of you have your own experiences working with external media, and it's easy to assume that they only focus on the bad, but without getting too much into the communication theory or political science, there's reasons why we think that, right, in terms of confirmation bias and other reasons. But the media play a critical role in our democratic society. There's one profession that is enshrined in the Constitution, and that profession is the press, right? That First Amendment that guarantees all of us freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to peacefully assemble. It also includes freedom of the press. And so we take that very seriously in the military. Obviously, we raise our right hand and swear to defend the Constitution. The First Amendment of that Constitution guarantees a free press. I would say, having worked with media for decades now, with very, very few exceptions, all the journalists I've worked with are professional, they're dedicated, hardworking, and they have a job to do, just like we do on the public affairs side or public relations. And so I respect their work, and I think together we can both help one another, and more importantly, help the American people, which is our target audience, right? In terms of military public affairs, we have a responsibility to provide maximum information with minimal delay. We can't do that without the media. Okay, so I'm interested to see how your experiences working with the media compare with mine. Moving on to your outline. It's due this week, and I encourage you to spend some quality time on that outline, right? This outline offers the path for your final project. And just like all the preparation that we've been doing, the more time you focus early, the not only easier it's going to be, of course, but it's also going to be more effective, right? So spend that time as much as you can on that outline. And consider, any adjustments you might make. That's very common. If you do want to make an adjustment, minor ones, don't toss out your old project and try to start anew this late in the game. But certainly, you're going to tinker around the edges. You're going to discover new resources. One of the resources you thought would be helpful maybe is not so helpful. That's all acceptable. That's the part of research, so move forward with that. You might also think about some things that you can cut. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but early in the semester, you're thinking about this big project, and you're like, how am I ever going to gather all the material I need? At this point, if you've been doing it right, you probably have more material than you're going to be able to fit, right? And so we like to take that research project, and we like to take all those things we found and polish it up, and it's just got to be included. No, it doesn't. You're much more effective and much more efficient if you figure out what to cut. That's where we are now, right? That's the hardest job of any writing is the cutting. And so think about what things you could get rid of. Maybe the research, as I mentioned before, is not as helpful as you thought it might be. Maybe one of your resources didn't pan out, or more likely, you found a better resource. Don't worry about tossing it out. The more you trim it, the more efficient, the more effective you're going to be, and the happier you're going to be with your final product. So, and then you may have discovered that you need some additional support, right? So maybe you've taken a little bit of a turn in your research, and so now you need to go out and explore some other resources. I just caution you not to spend so much time in that phase that you put off the writing, right? That's the tough part. It's fun to do all the research and exploration and all that, but you got to get yourself to the point where you're like, okay, this is when I spend as much time as possible getting my outline as detailed as possible, so that that next step in this iterative process becomes easier and easier and more effective. So a little bit of advice from someone who's done a fair share of writing. I know what it's like. I've been there. Okay, as always, make sure you stay ahead with assignments. Stay engaged in the discussion board. You're doing a great job there. And of course, as always, enjoy your time of learning.